Hi there and welcome. This is Kate Vanden with Leading with Intuition, and we're here today to look at the energetic roadmap of landscape for the month coming ahead. And we're doing it slightly differently this month in terms of it's not the calendar month, but I'm feeling inspired to actually follow the lunar calendar. And with it being the new moon in Libra really early here in the US tomorrow morning on October 6th, what I'd like to set the intention for is that this is a look ahead for the next lunar cycle, which will be the 4 months until we have the next new moon in November, early November. So it's just slightly off the Gregorian calendar schedule, but still following along the same lines. And what we're going to be doing, what I'm looking at here today, is overall themes for the month ahead and for the lunar cycle ahead, with some things for you to think about and some questions that are really good for you to potentially sit and journal on. Areas that need work, that need some attention with your self-care and self-focus, along with who the allies are that can help you do that. And then we're going to look at, through the middle row here, is we're looking at what the actual landscape looks like for this journey. And then the row at the very bottom talks about, supporting energies and things to think about as we're going through each of these different experiences and these landscapes. What are some of the things that we are either being asked to learn or being asked to be aware of so that we can navigate as gracefully and as consciously as possible, because that's the aim that we're looking at here, with the assumption that, you wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't curious about what was coming ahead for your own personal soul growth. This kind of reading doesn't attract people who don't want to know what's happening or don't believe in any form of a higher power, a universal support, a spiritual realm. So the understanding and assumption is that here that you're aware that there is something bigger than you, and this gives you kind of a little insight and snapshot into how to navigate and through the unseen. So there's things that we maybe sense and feel, but we don't always know for sure, and we can't necessarily see them. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is talking about basically knowledge is power. So if you know it's coming, you can anticipate it and be prepared for it. And I have to say, I am really excited to talk about this month because this is a beautiful, beautiful reading. And there's also some really key dates that I just want to cover off before we dive into the cards, just to be aware for this, again, next lunar cycle. So as mentioned, October 6th, very early in the morning here in the US, is the new moon in Libra, which is very dear to my heart because this is my sun sign. And the new moon is a perfect time for us to be setting intentions. And again, it's fascinating how that showed up in the reading here. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But the full moon is then going to be following up on October 20th. And that's the full moon in Aries. And full moon's the time where we want to be letting go and releasing things. And again, so we have a creative phase and then we have a releasing phase. So we're entering now the creation phase of setting intentions and being focused with our manifestations. And then later in the month, we're going to be looking at what are we being asked to let go of and release so that we can again start that creative cycle in the next lunar calendar. But also, what's important to note right now, and I'm sure you're already feeling it, is that we are smack in the middle of a Mercury retrograde right now. That is really, it is, I don't know, from your experience, I can only talk from mine, but I have to say that it's been a doozy. And Mercury has not disappointed in its retrograde so far in terms of technology and communication and the challenges and frustrations that can come up when things don't always go to plan. But again, it makes us pivot and find new creative solutions to do things and not take things for granted and make assumptions, which is always a good place for us to be. So that helps us learn and grow, right? So the good thing to know is with this trickster energy is that Mercury is going to be going direct on October 18th, which is a yay, but just to be aware that its shadow energy will still be around until about November 3rd. So we might not be completely out of the woods after the 18th, but hopefully that energy will start to lessen and be less of an impact and a disruption in our life. So be careful of that trickster. Be prepared, show up early, don't take anything for granted, double check if that email was delivered, make sure that you're allowing enough time to travel anywhere that you need to, get to the airport early. And these are all things that Mercury loves to have a little play with in our lives. And again, knowledge is power. It's there, so just work around it and anticipate it. All right, so Libra in the sun is all about balance in relationships. And so most of this lunar cycle, until we've got them basically until October 23rd, when we then move into Scorpio, we're looking at the balance and harmony in relationships, whether it's intimate relationships, friendships, family relationships, work relationships, relationship with yourself, which is a really dominant theme through this reading. That's what's coming up as the biggest overarching focus energy for right now, with the sun being in Libra. There is some big conversations here around dropping the masks, stepping into your authenticity, and almost taking stock of your relationships. And I would, again, really reiterate taking stock of the relationship that you have with yourself. And that seems to be the thread that is weaving through all of this reading. And from that place, we then can relate to others. But it's almost like our focus right now is being asked to look at our relationship with ourselves and make sure that's in a balanced, harmonious place before we then start sharing our lives with others. So, question that came up for you to think about for this next lunar phase, so for the next 4 weeks, is, do I surround myself with people who lift me up? This is a really important question, and I think it's actually, I've heard this in a couple different places, where it's now a case of looking at who is my community, who is my tribe, and does my tribe fill me up? Do they inspire me? Do the people that I surround myself with believe in me? Do they help me step up into my greatest potential? Or are the people around me kind of fueling that inner critic, trying to tear me down, keeping me small? Do they not like it when, you step out of the shadows to really shine your light? Are the people that are around you lifting you up or holding you down? And we're being asked really to spend some time thinking and considering that for the next few weeks around, and paying attention. Might even be something where you've just got relationships and friendships that you've just had for forever, and now it's time to bring them into conscious awareness, because we always have a choice. And again, this comes up with not just in relationships, intimate relationships, our friendships, our family, our inherited family, people that we not necessarily blood related to, but we treat as family around us, or we've inherited them as family. And also like work relationships. We spend a lot of time in the workplace. Like, are you surrounding yourself with people who lift you up? Or are you just feeling like you're going into work every day just being torn down and knocked off your pedestal? Or that whole poppy syndrome is, you don't want to put your head up too high. I think that's an Australian saying, but it's like the tall poppy syndrome, where you keep yourself small so that you don't stand out, so you don't draw attention to yourself. But that is the exact opposite of what you're being asked to do starting now. So if you're in a situation where even with your friends that you feel that you can't really truly express yourself in a light, bright, authentic way, it's time to start considering that maybe that's not a good place for you to be spending all your time and energy. Because the overarching theme for this next cycle is potential. And this card is beautiful, where there's a lot going on here in terms of visuals and symbology. So we have the cosmos. It's almost like this Milky Way, right? Where there's anything that's possible. And remembering that you are... This helps to get you out of like the stresses and strains of day-to-day living, is if you remember how big the cosmos is. Maybe spend some time just looking up at the skies and seeing everything that's possible. It really, for me, that's one of the quickest ways for me to get some perspective on my life and what's actually important. So we have anything is possible. Literally the sky is the limit, along with almost like this dormant volcano. And there's this potential building up. So you might be feeling like there's this energy bubbling up and building up inside of you that it just hasn't quite met the surface yet. But the potential is there for great explosion in your life, and which is movement forward, which is coming out, breaking free of the mold of the shell you might find yourself in, of any restrictive environments you're finding yourself in, is really truly embracing that potential and knowing that anything is possible and behaving that way too. Which is especially important right now when we're going to be talking about setting intentions, right? So that is, where is your focus? And if your focus is on anything being possible, that's what you will create. You're being asked for your self-care this month to surrender to receiving support and love. And this isn't easy. This is a real, especially in the world that we find ourselves living in now, is like the need to do it all ourselves and to prove ourselves. This again might hark back to if you're living in an environment where you're constantly having to prove yourself, that is something for you to sit and can consciously consider, because we're being asked to allow the love and support of others in, rather than trying to handle everything ourselves. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. This is massively important for your self-care. And again, remember, with Libra, we have a balance. There has to be a give and a take. And if we're always giving to others, we need to give the gift of giving back to them, which means we have to be willing to receive and be open to receiving that love and support, because there's nothing worse than somebody offering you help and then it falling flat or not being received. And that doesn't feel good. And you know how it feels when you try and give something to somebody and they're not open to receiving it. So give the gift of giving, but also give the gift of giving to yourself. Like where are you giving to others and not giving to yourself? So turn that lens back around and look at where think about that relationship with yourself is. What can you be giving to yourself? And then surrendering and allow yourself to receive that support and love that you give to other people. Hugely important. And this is also, there's a real feminine, one of the overarching themes here. This is all about femininity, this entire reading. So there, again, feminine, even potential, the female form has the potential to birth life. Again, we're in this phase through this month as we move into Scorpio season towards the end of October. It's all about the death and rebirth. So I was just reading somewhere, it's like you have a choice. Like we want to be focusing on that rebirth. So it's the potential. What is it that you are birthing in yourself and your life around you? It's that creative potential. That's a very female, feminine energy. So embracing the nurturing side, being open to receive and open to support, open to love, and being in flow and not restrictive and tight and almost like that strong, strict warrior energy. Is like there's something about just letting the walls down, letting the guard down. The ally that is showing up this month is the reflecting pool and stillness, which is a 33, which is an important master number. So it's you, me, and other, right? So the 3 is about allowing in that spiritual inspiration and creativity into your life. It's that it's the trilogy that's, in so many different places. And the idea being that you're being asked to stop and be still so that you can, one, receive, but also see. And if you look closely at this card, she's actually seeing a swan reflected back in the water. So there's again, water, when I talk about in a lot of readings, is how is the water raging? And this water is very still. This is the only water that's actually showing up, which means that this month is a very steady, stable flow of emotions. And there is not big waves, it's not crashing in and out. So it's giving yourself the gift of taking some time to reflect. Again, asking yourself the questions: do I surround myself with people who lift me up? What do I actually want in my life? Who am I? And really looking in the reflection and see what comes back to you, not seeing what you think is there or all the things that you maybe don't like about yourself, but look closer and almost see what others see in you, and maybe again, as we're talking about surrendering to receiving love and support, is also compliments. Like, what do people compliment you on? And where do you struggle to receive those. So spend some time really looking in the mirror and seeing what others see in you. And if that's a challenge to start with, try harder, look deeper, and spend that time giving yourself that gift of presence with yourself. And we'll come back to that because this theme keeps popping back up through the rest of this landscape. So what are the 4 parts of the next lunar cycle looking like? And again, this doesn't necessarily need to be in weeks. This can be all at once. It can rotate through several times. It can be, drawn out, that the first part is 3 weeks and then everything else, speeds through in your experience in the last week. And so this is just an overview and a suggested energetic landscape of what the next few weeks could look like and what there is here to learn. So this was fascinating. A few things coming up here. So we have 3 in the reflecting pool. We have 3 of spirit. We have 3 of intention. And then we have 6 of intention. That's not by accident. And numbers are really important, especially when there's a lot of repetition. So 3, 3, 3, and 3 and 6 are an important marker. So pay attention to when that comes up, because that, again, might be a reminder for you to give to self. And just get curious about how the surrounding world is talking to you. This is, our angelic guides and the universe actually uses numbers as one of the ways to talk to us and give us indicators. So just have some fun and pay attention and just see if those numbers start showing up for you, if you allow yourself to receive them. So the first part is the intuition and manifestation, right in alignment with this new moon for the first part of this lunar cycle. And which is fascinating because we also then have opening to discovery as the energetic support here. And what I love about this opening to discovery is, if you look, it's a very, very similar landscape to this potential card. It just has a keyhole in it. So there is something here about you hold the key to unlocking your potential. It's kind of a cliched way of saying it, but I can't think of any other way to say it clearly, and it's a cliche for a reason. There's there's stars coming out of this keyhole. You hold the key. And it feels like here is that the secret to unlocking this potential and opening to discovery is actually your focused intention. So using the power of your intuition to receive and listen and be still and hear that inspiration, but it's your focus that is going to create the manifestation. So really, really get clear on what it is that you want to create and focus on it, and maybe write it down, get it out of you and onto a piece of paper. Maybe do some kind of new moon ritual if that resonates with you. But there is magic in your focus this month. So super, super powerful time to use this new moon energy. And again, it happens, the power, almost like the portal of the energy around the new moon, can last for up to 3 days after the new moon peaks, which is tomorrow morning, October 6th. So harness that and really just spend some time focusing on that. And because then we're moving into a phase where also, again, this is 3 intention and then it's 6 intention. So intention stays as a big theme, as a forefront theme for you. And it's behind a mask is almost an asking, like, to drop the pretenses. So if part of the the intention that you're setting is to be more of an authentic self, this is where you're being almost asked to show up and actually do what you say you're going to do. So let's start dropping the masks, dropping into authenticity. And one of the quickest and easiest ways to do that is to ground yourself, which is what this Roots of Abundance are about. So this is very much around getting your energetic roots into the ground as an authentic being. And there's a phrase that I love to say is like, when the roots run deep, there's no need to fear the wind. There's no need for you, when you are grounded in your true authenticity and in sense of self, and you know who you are, you know where you begin and end. But trees are also super supportive of each other. And when your roots run deep into the ground, there is no need to fear the wind of chaos around you, because you're standing strong. And the tribe, if you have a supportive tribe of trees around you, also will help protect you. It's the classic case of interdependence. Like, trees are the prime example of this, where Every tree is independent and takes care of itself. And yet, as a interdependent collective, they all take care of each other. So that's kind of looking back to the balance and harmony of relationships with that Libra theme, is grounding in self so that you can show up as the best version of yourself in an interdependent relationship with others. And then once you've rooted and grounded in self, this looks like we're going to be probably moving more into around the time of the full moon in Aries. It's like, now what is it time for me to release? And there is something here, again, with this 6 of intention, about almost releasing the shackles of where you're playing small, playing safe. This woman here is, again, another female, or all females. She's sitting in the garden in safety. And she's not even seeing, she can't even see these fireworks that are outside and the great expansive landscape behind her, because she's comfortable, right? She's, they're probably telling herself that she's happy. But where are you telling yourself that you're happy and you're not seeing this pure, great potential that is outside this white picket fence, that you have every resource available to you to step over? Like, there's nothing stopping you and keeping you locked into this restricted, comfortable space except for yourself. Because the energy that's supporting you here is, again, a message of authenticity, is into me I see. So we're having another repeat of this reflecting pool, and this stillness is intimacy with self. Into me I see. So really looking at yourself, looking at what's true for you, what's authentic for you, what's important to you, what do you need to receive and from love and support from others, and maybe ask for it. And also it might be a case that this is now a time where you're looking for a new tribe of people. You're stepping out of your comfort zone. You're no longer playing it safe. You're shining your light bright. You're getting out into the world of fireworks and exploring, and doing it from a place, again, place of intimacy with authenticity and vulnerability. Intimacy is also equal to vulnerability, and vulnerability is a strength if you embrace it that way. And there's one of the most important things, again, to be in an interdependent relationship, is that you're actually dropping all of these masks and showing up as the true version of you, because that's what other people need from you, and that's what you need for yourself. And I love how this month is going to end with this message of true love and the royal you. And what this is, the literal message is here is, true love, potentially in relationships, entering your life or being enhanced in your life. And the other message here, though, is, again, looking at and seeing the reflection and falling in love with who you see in the mirror, giving yourself the gift of this flower that you would maybe give to others, and receiving this gift that you would maybe give to others from yourself. Really, truly seeing in the mirror what there is to love about you, and again, what others love about you. And the royal you is, there's this level of sovereignty, and I am going to read from the book because I just love the message in this book. But the idea being that you're magnetizing in all of this. You'll see there's a lot of stars, there's a lot of sparkles, there's a lot of things around each of these females: fireworks, sparkles, stars, more sparkles, butterflies, lights, and even around this crown, it's all sparkly and bright and light. And they're magnetizing towards you. So you have to be still to magnetize things towards you. So it's, again, being the important reminder to be still and let life come to you. But don't hide yourself. Don't hide it and play it safe and hide your light from others. Because, again, as a lighthouse, you need to shine so that others can see where you are. So I just want to finish this beautiful reading with just a message from this Royal You card as a reminder. And the concept around this card is sovereignty, responsibility, self-confidence, self-rule, ownership of your feelings and actions, a quiet sense of empowerment, being self-aware, not allowing outside influences out of alignment with your truth. Do you know what it means to express personal sovereignty in your life? It's about how you hold to your inner sense of worth and integrity, secure in your belief that you have a unique purpose. It's about feeling comfortable in your own skin, knowing who you are and that nothing outside you can challenge your authentic self. The hard-won seat of awareness that you have earned. You are the ruler of your mind, And you're being invited now to consider what disciplines you need to apply to your thoughts. Are they consistent with the values and beauty you intend for your life? It is important now to keep your focus on what is right and good for you as well as others. I mean, if that doesn't sum up everything that we've just talked about, I don't know what does. So beautiful, beautiful reading, super powerful month. And I wish you all of the love and blessings and sparkles and joy that this month has to offer. And I look forward to hearing from you again soon.